So let's get into it. Sound effects, which I never add the sound effects. I still keep us talking. Sound effects.
Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Okay, so what was this? Just a week ago, 2 weeks ago, this premiered on Disney Plus. The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, written and directed by James Gunn, of course, and I was kind of excited for this one because it was a short, it's not a full-length movie.
Just an hour.
Right, just like 45 minutes, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I can dig that, I'm like, okay, I just talked about how I like holiday shit and my pop culture shit, so I'm all about it, And when I texted you about it, you were like, oh, I've heard good things. And I'm like, oh, damn. The internet always says everything's good for the most part if it's a comic book movie. But, okay.
Well, this was my buddy. He said that he likes a lot of stuff, too, that are line up with things that I like.
Your buddy's a liar, James.
He's reliable.
I'm just kidding. So, like I said, this is brand new, and it was okay. So, basically, the premise is that Peter, who is the only human on the Guardians, who's the only one that knows about Christmas, he's kind of down in the dumps, or everyone assumes he's down in the dumps because they hear this backstory about how when he was young, Yondu ruined Christmas for him or whatever. And so Mantis and Drax, take it upon themselves to try to do something to brighten Peter's Christmas spirit and help show their appreciation for everything. They're like, we're going to bring Christmas to Peter. And so we have, let me get here. We have an animated opening, which is just kind of par for the course. I would have much preferred an old school claymation
style. Yeah, that would.
What is that? What group of movies is that called?
Oh God, I don't know. It's the Christmas.
With the old snowman with the mustache, and he tells us all about Christmas.
With the Island of Misfits toys and all that stuff,
that would have been, that's a perfect opportunity for that.
That would have been really cool.
And they totally missed it. And I don't even want to say, oh, they couldn't. It's not logistically. No, this is fucking Disney. They could have done it, They could have put some interns in a workshop for 2 weeks.
To fucking put it together. It's James Gunn, man. I feel like he would have done it himself if need be.
Exactly. So, and we see in this animated opening, Peter kind of, he's hanging out with the other guy. I forget the other
one guy who inherited, I forget what the hell his name is. Yondu's Mohawk. Yeah, he's only other Terran, human, along with Quill.
So they're celebrating Christmas, kind of. They have this little rinky-dink thing. Yondu comes in, and he's Scrooge McFucking-Duck, and, stomps on their Christmas and throws everything away. And it's funny, if you look at the packages, the gifts, one says, Taserface is in there and everything. I'm like, okay, I like that.
And, of course, there's one for Yondu and stuff.
Yeah,
he just throws in the rubbish.
Right. So that's how Yondu ruined Christmas. I ruined Christmas in other ways growing up, mostly by spoiling presents, and no one ever lets me live that down. But, here we are. Like, oh, remember when you were a kid and you did something fucking dumb? I'm like, yeah, all the time. It keeps me up at night, actually.
Right.
Didn't you, sprain your wrist sledding, in middle school?
I had a hairline fracture on my wrist, and because we were sledding, went off the jump, and when I landed like that on my wrist, and everyone was calling me a pussy, and they're throwing snowballs at me. I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm done. Pussy. Okay, whatever, you're a pussy, whatever.
Fucking assholes, man.
But that's how Yondu ruined Christmas. And so now we're in Nowhere, a little market in Nowhere, a little living space.
They bought it off of, what's his face? The Collector, apparently.
Okay. I totally missed that part.
Yeah, I guess, a little backstory, what's her face? Nebula fills in and says that they bought it off the Collector. Which, how the hell does a Collector just give up?
Well, dude, he's in shambles after what happened.
Oh, yeah. So, but Nowhere's all fucked up, so they're repairing it, and, they're talking about how, also, Mantis mentions...
Oh, this pisses me off.
That she's Peter's sister.
Yeah, she's like, oh, Ego was my dad, and Ego was Peter's dad. I'm like, that's such bullshit. Why did you do that?
It's whatever. So anyhow,
so dumb. And no, I put it in here how mad and how dumb it was. I'm like, because that's not in the comic books. And it does, normally I'm not like, oh, it has to be from the comic. I'm not normally like that. But this was just like, it was thrown in so lazily during a holiday special where you're not paying attention to actual story or anything. So now it's canon just because they made it fucking canon in this little holiday special. And
a Christmas special.
Chris,
Really?
it was lame, man.
But I mean, to me, it's like, since I don't have any attachments to any of these characters.
I'm glad we have opposing views on this because people might agree or disagree with both of us in the comments. Like and subscribe, leave a comment. But I have an attachment to not the original Guardians lineup, but the 2003 lineup. I believe it was 2003 where Rocket was in there and they reintroduced, it was like the new Guardians of the Galaxy. That is the lineup like we see in the movies.
Right.
But, you know, it's what it was inspired from, the comic books. But now, in the new Guardians, they got the uniforms from those books, which is kind of a redemption for me. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I saw that in a movie they got.
But I loved the original Guardians lineup. It was like that first time where it was just like this group of losers, and it was just kind of not taken seriously. And when I was I was probably 13 or so, and picked that up, and it was just fun, and I hate that they made Mantis and Peter related. I think it's really lazy. And the way that they dropped it so nonchalantly, she's like, oh yeah, me and Peter are related. I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, why? But anyway, let's move on to my next grievance about this movie. So we're in the square. They're all just talking, you know, and Cosmo's there. We finally get to see Cosmo, which is one of my favorite Marvel characters of all time. And what did they do? What did those liberal snowflake Marvel people do? They made Cosmo a girl. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Not that it really matters.
I thought it was a little boy. I thought it was supposed to be.
I looked it up. I fucking looked it up just to make sure before I ranted on this podcast about it. I'm like, okay, I thought original Cosmo was a boy.
Because Cosmo tried his best. I remember the frame.
Right.
Dude.
Well, you know, women can try their best too, despite, you know, some statements you said earlier. I'm just kidding. But Cosmo, and I even looked it up. In the original books, he was a boy. I always imagine a Russian dude's head.
That's kind of how I picture it too. Like, Cosmo will try his best. Yeah, that's the way I imagine it.
And they made Cosmo a girl, which is fine, whatever. Yeah. But I just wanted to make a joke about Marvel doing gender and race swaps, because who really cares? But it's like, Cosmo is a character that I really enjoyed, and I would have liked that dude's Russian accent. Yeah, people are going to say I'm shitty about being petty about it.
I was caught off by it too because, you kind of have a certain voice.
Yeah. And when I've read this character for years, and I imagine that voice in my head.
Something like that, I can definitely get it. And which, that kind of negates my earlier comment too about I don't have any attachment to these characters because it just made me eat my words.
Yeah, dude, Cosmo's great. I love Cosmo. I used to run him in Hero Clicks back when I played Hero Clicks, but anyway, let's not talk about my great Hero Clicks lineups that I used to play. But
I got him a vending machine terrain piece for his birthday one year.
I still have the ones that you got. I got the Black Manta, and there's another one. I can't remember. I got it somewhere, though. But I got rid of all. I know I still have my Cosmo, too. Cosmo and Dr. Doom on Silver Surfer board. Great times. Great times. But anyway, we get, let's see here. So Mantis and Drax decide, based on everything they know about Peter, is that they're going to go to Earth and kidnap Kevin Bacon.
We're going to get Kevin Bacon.
Which is, that's a great idea for a holiday special. I like that. Let's see how this goes. But that is their game plan. And they all think Kevin Bacon is this, like, the man. They think he's like he's a hero and all this shit because of everything Peter told them.
Exactly. They think that their perception of Kevin Bacon is everything that Peter has thought about Kevin Bacon since the framework that he had when he was a kid and he left Earth.
Right.
So it's like, and Kevin Bacon, he's not on board with this shit.
Well, before we even get, there, we're attacked by a slew of shitty Christmas songs that are meant to be really fun and just kind of whatever. Because we get that before they even take off, we get hit by that one alien. It's like, hey, Peter, I got this guitar. I know how to play music now. And Peter's like, all right, show me what you got. And then he starts up playing this really lame Christmas song that's basically like, aliens, They don't get
An
it.
alien's perception of Christmas.
What? It's funny because they don't get it.
Right,
I'm
right.
like, okay, whatever. And the song goes on for way too long. Way too
It was
fucking
just
long.
a little, just a little bit too much.
And so then, so Drax and Mantis head out to Earth and they land in Hollywood and they're trying to find Kevin Bacon. And so what? They go to a club first, right?
They go to a club, like, I thought it was pretty funny, though, when they first get there, and everybody's looking up at him, and Mantis is like, why is everybody looking at us? Did you forget to turn on the cloaking device?
Oh, yeah, and they're in the ship.
Drax is just like, no. And then he just turns it on.
She's like, I can see. And you know what? This is funny because we get to see Mantis and Drax, a dynamic that we haven't seen in the movies
and I
before.
think that was probably the highlight of the whole I mean, which it kind of needed to be because they were central to the story.
Well, yeah, and Mantis has never really gotten a lot of... I mean, she's had screen time in Guardians, but never, like, character development. We never get to see her personality and just action, you know? And it was cool to see that, but my one complaint about the Drax and Mantis thing... It was just like, this whole holiday special, anytime Drax was in it, you're just like, all right, what's the one-liner gonna be? All right, what's Drax's joke? You're just like waiting for the Drax joke. The I don't understand it Drax joke. And in the previous Guardians movies, we've had those, but they've been peppered in. You know, for just the right time. But every time Drax opens his mouth, it's one of those things. And it's like, come on, dude. Like,
I think
same peppering, but in 45 minutes instead of a feature length.
Okay,
So that's probably why it came off heavy. But I like as dumb as it was, the thing with the little elf.
The elf was hilarious.
Drax
and
loves
him
his
thinking
little
that
elf.
this candy cane was a silly little man.
Oh,
and
yeah,
she's like,
yeah.
it isn't a man. And he's like, how do you know it isn't? Like shit like that. Like I love Drax. I think that he's a great character.
I like Drax too, but it's like that. It was so one note.
It was one note, but you got to understand too. Like, there's no room for anything else, really.
Yeah, there is. It
What
doesn't
else
need
is
to be
there?
every fucking line.
Because there's not. It's not like there's no villain in this fucking thing.
It's not fun. It's like fucking Matilda. You guys, it's like Matilda. It's like Brucey. It's like when they're feeding him the chocolate cake in Matilda.
I've seen Matilda.
Brucey
man.
loves chocolate cake, but they keep stuffing him with chocolate cake until he's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's like, man, I can't do it. Just give me a little bit of something. Give me a little break, Like, we can take that, I think, from Mantis in this movie because we've never seen Mantis in just, like, a regular setting.
Right, and because Mantis, like you pointed out, hasn't really had any development either.
Right.
Drax, it's kind of really hard to put anything else with him because his character's become obsolete. He doesn't really serve that much purpose outside of just being comedy relief now.
Dude, the entire Guardians of the Galaxy are useless.
They are now. Yeah.
All of them are useless right now. So that's not an excuse, James.
No, it isn't an excuse, but I mean, dude, I wasn't expecting anything major with this holiday special, so I took it for what it was.
That's fair. I'll leave you alone. I'll let you have your opinion.
I thought it was okay.
I'll back off.
But I mean, I get your gripe though, because it's like the James Gunn thing.
It was just too much.
It's becoming very much formulaic. And that he has a very... You know what to expect with everything that he does.
Right.
And I like it, but it's getting old like anything else.
Right.
I
think you and me are both suffering from superhero
Oh,
fatigue.
dude, for sure. It's a thing. I feel like anybody that's been following comic books in the MCU for this long, everybody's feeling.
It's a different monster, man. It's a totally different monster than when this all started, and that's okay.
But I feel like Marvel... From what I heard, they are starting to kind of like they're listening more now and understanding that, hey, Phase 4 was kind of a fucking mess.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see where it goes.
All right, so anyway...
You're going to have to fucking work to get my interest back here,
That's
guys.
right. It's true. It's absolutely true.
You
because
are.
I don't watch any Marvel stuff unless you tell me you watched it and it was really good.
You haven't watched Moon Knight?
No, I watched the first episode and that was enough.
It wasn't enough, obviously.
Oh, fuck, dude. I'm just
I watched all of the first season and I thought it was okay.
You liked it?
But it was more of like just something to throw on to watch
I got
while eating dinner that I'm sorry.
I'm just
it has
so
some cool stuff in it, but it's...
Well, no, it's for what it was in Phase 4, it wasn't perfect, but I like that it got a lot of things right.
You like that it had Moon Knight. James.
What I didn't like is that he didn't cut off his arch nemesis' face, but I can't have everything my way.
Yeah, that's fair, because they canceled my Swamp Thing show.
It's a travesty.
If I can't be happy, you can't either.
This is true. This is probably true.
Speaking of questionably PG-13 movies, not that I think this deserves a higher rating, there was some kind of messed up bad boy stuff in this holiday special, despite being, owned by Disney now. Like, there was drinking, we got a shit bomb at the end.
I'm happy that you brought that up, because I want to talk about that. And just the next... when the cops arrive, all this stuff happens, where I was like, whoa. Very happy you brought that up.
They went pretty hard on
because
that shit.
They first land, they get to this bar, they're asking people where to find Kevin Bacon. That Merry Christmas song is playing.
Merry Christmas, but I think I'll miss this one this year. Merry Christmas, but I think I'll miss this one this year.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
I hate that song.
By the waitresses, the ones that do that. I know what boys like.
I fucking hate that song. I hate both those songs.
Yeah, they're terrible. It's both terrible. I've been singing that and driving Tori crazy for the last couple of weeks, and I don't even sing the actual song. I just go, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Me. So, but anyway, they're getting hammered at the club, and once they get out of the club, they're drunk outside. They ask a lady if she knows where Kevin Bacon is. She gives them a map of the stars, but they don't have money for it, so she takes it back. And then, doesn't someone creep up and go, you want to know where Kevin Bacon lives?
Well,
that was the lady.
It was a lady because they're drunk, and she said that you got to pay $40 for it, and she's like, "You're gonna give it to me for free."
Oh yeah. She gives Mantis powers on her.
And then she's
they
like,
rob her of her money.
Yeah. And she does it angrily too. You can tell that she's not exactly happy about it. She's like, zip.
Right. So they've already been drinking, which we've seen the Guardians do before. We've seen them get drunk, but now they're stealing from people, which we've seen them do. But they find out where Kevin Bacon lives, and they creep up to his house, and
steal some Christmas
They steal the ornaments. Drax gets his little tiny man, and Mantis gets her candy cane, and they're ringing on the doorbell, and he's ignoring them until they literally just Drax just bursts through, doesn't he?
Well, see, but the great thing is Kevin Bacon is watching Santa Claus conquers the Martians.
Yeah, holiday classic.
Yeah, which is fantastic, and par for the course for James Gunn to put that in there.
Me and Nick had a fancy evening one night watching Santa Claus versus the Martians with a cheese board and all that good stuff.
Fantastic viewing, man.
Yeah, it was a great
essential
movie.
holiday viewing.
But yeah, I saw him watching that. I'm like, oh, hey, I gotta tell everyone. I gotta tell the guys. But Drax bursts in basically, and they're freaking Kevin Bacon out, and he runs out of the house. And here's where it kind of lost me with Drax. So Kevin's running, and then we see Mantis and Drax leaping from lawn to lawn, following Kevin Bacon. And I think that looked so silly.
Oh, it did, for sure. 100%.
Because, that's what was the old Wolverine cheesy thing where he would
Oh, dude,
on the wires.
Yeah. Like when Sabretooth, he's in the battlefield, and he's doing the beast.
Yes.
That was the shittiest. It was dude, what the hell is...
It just looked corny. It's look, we know that these people are capable, I guess, of making leaps like that, but that's not how they travel. I would imagine Drax had one of those mini jetpacks that they give him. Same thing with Mantis. But I think it just looked silly, them leaping around like the Incredible Hulk from lawn to lawn. They're chasing him down. And is it at this point that the cops arrive?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they caught up with Kevin Bacon, and then the cops get there.
And Drax is bulletproof?
Yeah. Well, Drax is resilient as fuck. He's always been resilient.
I think they're hinting at that, the stuff we see him shot at in all the other movies or things he's featured in are, high grade, heavy
lasers.
Weaponry, and this is just puny human pea shooters.
It was just weird to me, because I feel like if you shot Drax in the comic books, he would be...
No, because... the stuff that every time that he's been harmed with in the past, it always been like high grade shit. Like I think that the only time he's ever been like
incapacitated.
yeah,
man.
was when what's his face stabbed him, and that was with like a fucking some kind of special. It was
a special blade.
you know, it was Chitauri or some shit like that. But Drax, you got to remember he crushed that one fucking thing with his hands, so he's not like a pussy by any means.
And this is when Drax kills a cop, right?
He didn't kill a cop, but he flipped it. He flipped a car, and I thought that they were dead. But, you know, they went... Because Mantis went under...
She checked on him, and then they added to the candy cane silly joke, like, does
Yeah,
this look like a silly man to you? And they're like,
Yeah, because remember she asked
I
the
knew
cop, like, here, you can have the candy cane. And then she's like,
We're
even now. Like, it was a generous gift. And then she's like, does that look like a man to you? And they're like, no. He's like, yeah, my friend's an idiot.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Shit like that is hilarious.
I must have like looked away for a second because I'm watching this and I'm like, they just killed cops. Like what?
No,
the
they
fuck,
were still
dude?
alive. Because
Like,
I thought the same thing at first. Like, whoa, dude, Drax is going pretty hard here, but they were still alive because Mantis talked to him and all that stuff.
all right, so we have more lame Christmas music that was playing during this.
I noticed in your daily handout notes that the one track on this whole Christmas special that I was okay with is your least favorite.
Oh, and I
track.
went
That-
hard on that with a couple strong words. I
There's some
think.
heated language about the Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan. I don't like Billy Corgan, but I like the Smashing Pumpkins.
I
Sorry.
hate Billy Corgan and I hate the Smashing Pumpkins. And how does that song go? Like, there'll be presents.
Yeah.
Lots of
Toys for girls and boys.
toys for girls and boys. We love Christmas. Like, fucking. They just like put me over the edge.
We don't need lumps of coal.
Just love and good cheer. Holiday cheer.
I thought it was okay.
We're not there yet. Don't give me your fucking conclusion, James. Don't you conclude. So they capture captured Kevin Bacon, and she does her Mantis thing to make him feel like it's all right.
Yeah, they're on the way to the planet and, like, you know, basically trying to convince Kevin, or she just does her powers and Kevin's okay with it at first.
But he like talks to them, and they realize through talking to him that he's not.
No, he's
hero.
not any of the things that Peter said that he was.
And in fact, they call him a disgusting actor.
That was great. He's an actor. And, like, even Mantis, who is like the most passive person in the Guardians, like, he's an actor. Like, she's pissed, like,
Right.
furious, and like.
So yeah, they get back to the planet with him. They box him up and they bring him out. And Peter steps out into the market, and they've decorated for Christmas some lame. I'm gonna use softer words. Lame Billy Corgan Christmas song is playing, which is like, to me, Billy Corgan, who's just like Mr. Ego and Mr. like
I don't
fuck the
care for
music
him at all.
industry. Why the fuck did you make a Christmas song? And does he think his Christmas songs are better? Because you know what? I think simply having a wonderful Christmas time
No,
is better
don't fucking do
than Billy
that.
Corgan's lame Christmas song.
I have to get a new beer after
Oh,
that.
fine. No, because alcohol is for heathens.
Thank you, James.
That's right, you heathens.
100%.
So, anyway, they give Kevin Bacon to Peter, and of course he has a reaction that any normal person would. And he's like, oh my god, this is human trafficking! And Drax goes, yeah! And that was funny. That Drax one got me. And so he has them unsnap him out of Mantis's spell, and of course he freaks out and runs away, and they chase after him, basically. And they convince him?
Well, the one guy, I forgot what the hell his name is. The other Terran guy. James Gunn's brother. He talks to Kevin Bacon and explains to him Peter's situation and everything that happened. And then Kevin Bacon has a change of heart, and he decides that he's going to write a Christmas song!
Fuck yes! We didn't have enough Christmas songs
So we need
already.
another Christmas song, and everybody has a fantastic time with all the cheese.
Yeah, and I wrote, let's see, Kevin Bacon does Christmas songs. This whole thing was, what was it? Had no story or has bare minimum story, and it's just full of scenes meant to play like a music video, kind of like Rocky IV, but not as good. Because of course it's not as good as Rocky 4, but that was one of my big things. This whole thing kind of just felt like...
Did it need the fucking robot, Larry? Did it need the fucking robot?
Happy birthday, Peter. Runs out with a cake and a beer or whatever.
Oh, I thought you meant there was robots in this Guardians of the Galaxy.
It needed the
special.
Rocky
I missed
5
that.
robot.
This guy,
It
Paulie's
needed the
robot from Rocky 4. Because Rocky 4 has everything. It's the best movie ever. And maybe we'll talk about it one day in more detail.
No, it's not gonna happen.
So, basically, Peter's happy. Everyone's filled with holiday cheer. And Kevin Bacon eventually goes home. And so after all of that, we cut to seeing what happened after Yondu threw away Christmas, basically. So he goes to the trash and he takes out his present, and it's his first little dash doodad.
The little figurine.
The things he likes putting up
putting on
that
the
he thinks
dashboard.
are cute or whatever.
Which was kind of cool.
Right, and then so you see him give Peter a present, and it's Peter's guns, which I thought was kind of neat. I'm like, that's kind of a cool way to tie that all together.
Also, right when I saw the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, as much as you hate it, did you not see how Halo, Covenant Plasma Rifle, his blasters are inspired?
Yeah, I never registered in my mind because Halo doesn't even pay rent in my brain. It didn't even I'm like, but I can see that now that you said that. Absolutely, just give maybe some spikes. It kind of looks like
it doesn't have to be a needler. I'm talking just.
Kind of looks like a
No, it does look like
rifle.
the same thing for sure. I noticed the aesthetic similarity.
Thank you, James.
Dude, Halo is so.
I've only played because a lot of my family played. My cousins and stuff. We used to play multiplayer all the time.
I did 1 and 2, but after that, I was just like, whatever, man. I just don't like. I never had an Xbox.
I mean, myself.
I'm a PlayStation boy a little bit. But so I think it's funny because when we look at the trash can and Yondu, they leave Taserface's. I'm sure Taserface's present never made it out of the trash can.
No.
They're just like, oh, fuck that guy. That's probably why he's so salty.
You know what's hilarious is I thought Taserface was a character that was created exclusively for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Then I realized that he actually was a Marvel character.
Really?
Yeah. He was an actual Marvel, and I was like, Jesus Christ,
that's
man. They
beyond
were
me.
Yeah, and
I either forgot about it or never realized, or
he was just as minor as everybody.
I was gonna say it probably didn't even get on my radar because I'm like,
but
why would I think about him?
He was one of those characters that was devised in the '90s where everything had to be extreme and like.
Oh yeah.
Did he have a lot of cargo pouches?
He was clearly designed by Rob Liefeld, and he had kind of like a spiky mullet and all kinds of shit.
One of the greatest American comic book artists of all time, Rob Liefeld.
Fucking hack.
Hey, whoa! You've seen that Captain America cover? It's phenomenal.
With this fucking anatomical aberration.
So ridiculous. I'm sorry, Rob Liefeld. I still like you. Felt like a very long commercial with no substance to it. It was just kind of like filler scenes all strung together, lined up with jokes to distract you there's nothing going on.
For me, it was like some of the characters they didn't really know what to do with.
Yeah.
Which, it's whatever. Because, we didn't really get any development with Nebula or...
No, and anything. We don't need to.
No, but I get it. You can only do so much with it's a holiday special, so It's got to be just simple and fun, and that's it.
Yeah.
So did anyone notice that Nebula's dance seemed like she was at a Western bar?
I did. Yeah, it was weird. It was kind of off.
But in case you guys forgot the question I asked you, what was your favorite part? The things you disliked about it.
Well, for me, favorite part, just.
That it was Christmas.
Yeah, overall, I think it did its job. It was happy. It was fun. I know that you hated the whole one-liners for Drax thing, but honestly, for him watching him beat the shit out of a GoBot, for me was hilarious.
Okay.
In case we didn't mention that part, when they first get to Hollywood, they see all the people in cosplay and shit, and there's a guy dressed like a fucking GoBot. And
do we see a Starscream or an Ant-Man as well?
Yeah, we see all kinds of other shit, but there's one guy dressed like a GoBot, and Mantis has to restrain Drax because his brother got his head ripped off by a go-by.
Okay.
Which is just so absurd. And which, I mean, that's weird because if you think about it, it's kind of poking fun at Drax overall as a character.
Yeah, they're saying he's not worth the time.
Right, basically because everybody in his family's been killed by by either Thanos or a go-by.
They're like, yeah, fuck this guy. He's just pure comedic value now because James thinks he's useless.
He's not useless. He's comic relief, and he's making me happy, Larry. No, but yeah, Drax should deserve better. But you know, you can only have one character kill Thanos, I guess.
True.
You know, and no, go ahead.
Go for it.
My favorite moment of this in the Christmas corner here was towards the very end when they're dispersing the presents as the song's closing out. A few of them are gifted miniatures that are recreations of scenes from the holiday special that, like, Drax is flipping a car and stuff.
Groot made those because he made them out of pieces of wood that he painted. That was really cool.
And then the last one they go on is just the guy opening it. It's excited, and it's of him opening
laughing,
it,
and
excited,
it's small,
smiling.
like
And I just thought that was like,
yeah, that was
guys
really
talk about how much you love this movie for a second while I refill my coffee?
Can you fulfill me too?
Yeah, sure.
Give Neil a fill-up. Give him life.
You guys talk about how much you love this terrible segment.
he needs more hot brain juice.
Hey, you gotta get all that green juice. I thought it was all right. I know that. I think Larry's a fucking Scrooge. I think Larry's Scrooging.
He's got the spirit, but
He's got the
picky about
spirit,
it.
but he's Scroogier than I am. I can say this now that he's getting my coffee refill. Larry's a Scrooge. Scroogier than I, and I'm older. It's saying something.
Here you go.
Christmas is a time for giving, a time to be with one's family.
I say bah. Humbug.
I was talking all this shit while you were gone.
Green juice. Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
He did spit in it. That's not eggnog.
Okay, so you guys obviously liked the holiday special.
I thought it was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay.
It was, to me, it was what it was. I didn't expect anything, and I didn't get much, and that's okay. You know, it is what it is. So that's a wrap for having an episode on Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Let us know what you think about it in the comments below, if you think I'm full of shit or if you think James is right.
I'm always full of shit most of the time, but if you want to make me feel better about things, I deserve it.
And we don't want James to feel good.